The Wall of Jericho, prayers over weapons. Have you ever faced a battle so intimidating that you felt powerless? The walls of Jericho were significant in height and length, designed primarily for the city's protection. Archaeological evidence suggests that Jericho had an outer wall about 6 feet thick and 26 feet high, and an inner wall around 12 feet high. The entire circumference of the city these walls enclosed was approximately 600 meters. These fortifications made Jericho a formidable fortress, challenging to breach with the technology of the time. Strategically located near important trade routes in the Jordan River, Jericho was a gateway into the heartland of Canaan, making it crucial for any military campaign in the region. For the Israelis, the walls represented a significant psychological and physical barrier, symbolizing the opposition they faced in their quest to conquer and settle in the Promised Land. From a theological perspective, the walls were also a test of the Israelis' faith and obedience to God's commands. Imagine Joshua and the Israelis as they stood before the mighty walls of Jericho. These walls were not just physical barriers, but symbols of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Yet God had a plan that defied conventional warfare. God instructed Joshua, "March around the city with all the armed men once daily for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns before the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast, have the whole army give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city will collapse." Can you imagine what the people of Jericho thought as they watched the Israelis? Day after day, they circled the city in silence, except for the sound of the trumpets. The enemy must have looked down from their walls, shaking their heads in disbelief. "These people have lost their minds," they might have thought. "How can they expect to conquer us with mere marching and trumpets?" But Joshua and the Israelis obeyed God's unusual instructions. On the 7th day, they rose early and marched around Jericho 7 times. As the trumpets sounded a long blast, the Israelis gave a mighty shout. In an instant, the formidable walls of Jericho came crashing down, and the city was theirs. This story teaches us that sometimes God calls us to approach our battles differently. Instead of physically handling it, we use faith, obedience, and prayer. Spiritually, walking around our struggles and praying might seem foolish to the world, but it's through this obedience that God's power is revealed. Just as the walls of Jericho fell, our own barriers can be overcome when we trust in God's plan and His timing. Check out my other videos for more stories of faith and God's miraculous works. Let's continue to explore the depths of God's Word together and grow in our understanding and faith. Click, comment, and subscribe.